Ngozi Talk Shows family. It's Nomsa here at Ngozi Talk Shows. Find your own voice, lead from within. So with me today, I'm with the Tara guys. Hi, Tara.
Hiya, hi. I'm Tara from Lady Cat Lifelines, a podcast that is, a sanctuary for truth, tea, and tiny revolutions and revelations of the soul. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Awesome, awesome. So the topic is how modern women are stepping into masculine energy. So today's modern women is refined what it means to thrive, not just in the home, but in business,
Yeah.
leadership, and independence.
Mm-hmm.
But in doing so, many women are stepping into what's often called the masculine energy. Assertiveness, structure, logic, and drive. It is a
Yes.
sign of empowerment or a response to social imbalance. And what does it mean for femininity, relationship, and emotional well-being? So, Tara, you chose this topic.
I
Would
did.
would you mind to explore, to tell our audience what was on your mind?
No, well, I think okay. I don't think we're tired per se, but I think this episode is for that woman who's tired of being the strong one. Women, we out here building empires, solving crises, surviving trauma, keeping receipts, sending invoices, feeding everybody, and somehow trying to be soft and feminine. For the algorithm, because when you think of it, women we're supposed to be soft, very loving, and that's great. That's our natural intuition. But yeah, my question is just like everybody, when did being a woman men start meaning doing everything like a man and still being told it's not enough and still being expected to smile more and stay cute? So I think it's time we pull the curtain back and talk about this masculine energy thing. I don't know what it is, but I know is I think I am in it as well, and I'm exhausted. And also it's good to see what real strength looks like. Outside of the grind, outside the grind of culture. Because I mean, we one thing that I am proud of is I'm proud of a woman. Any woman today, yesterday, a woman to become. I even talk to my daughters and I say, I celebrate you. You're a woman. You're a woman. But being a woman comes with burdens.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. Us women now we're juggling careers,
Yeah.
families, and personal growth is needed. In
Mm.
that balance, a shift in energy is happening. And I also agree that when we do things, sometimes we get told that it's not enough what we're doing. There's
Yes.
some things that are expected from a woman, but
Yes.
how do we actually balance everything? Like, when you have a family, you have a husband, you have children, and you have to go to work. But a husband actually has to focus on one thing. In
Yes.
some families,
Oh,
there are some husbands
I
that do
there's some
have.
husbands there's some women that are blessed, but I know, but even when you're blessed with a lovely husband that empathetic, knows, looks after you, as a woman, I think it still does feel like juggling with no hands. You got so many balls going up. You're trying to do burpees, trying to keep your body straight. You're trying to do burpees whilst you're putting chicken nuggets in the air fryer, whilst responding to that email that says, where are you? It's all very, it's just trying to, we still are, we still stuck in that, well, not stuck, because we need the softness, we need the nurture, we need the surrender, we need the receiver attracting feminine energy, don't we? That flow of softness. But we also redirected to being, as you rightly stated at the start, logical. What was
Yeah,
it? What things did you say? You pointed quite a few things there: logic, discipline, direction.
yeah.
Yeah, so we in control, and we are still expected to do that. And I think I just like how many if you like myself, how many of us are, overachieving, over planning, over functioning, and still feeling under supported and still feeling not enough.
I think I liked your comment when you comment on Facebook that you spend like 10 years in education, and then after 10 years worked really hard your socks off, and then he ended up with a heart attack. I,
Oh yeah, that heart
I
attack, that was a teacher for me. As I said to you before, it was like, sit down, ma'am, sit down. And then I had to sit down and reflect. I realized, like, how many of us are like me? You wake up in go mode, and then sometimes you forget the go mode, which is like how we meant to be, how we meant to flow, how we not, yeah, how we are women. We nurture us by by design. And then yes, I realized myself, I was on a go absolutely go nonstop. I'm a mom. I became a single mom. I became a single mom. I was in a relationship. I tried everything, tried, prayed, cried. In the end, it didn't work out. Then I'm a single mom. I'm finding myself, having to be a strength, dealing with my trauma, managing my children's traumas, trying to be this cheerleader for my ex, whilst hurting, like whilst crying into my coffee every morning because everything hurt so bad. And then I was like, okay, so I have to have a strategy. I have an ex who basically relinquished any responsibility. My children go to fee paying school. So he relinquished any responsibility. And I'm one of those mamas that don't get child support, I don't get a penny. And then so I had to. And when I talk of masculine energy, I talk, bills need to be paid, kids need to be raised, kids need to be nurtured, traumas need to be managed. And oh baby, and I had to do it. And then bam, sit down. You are in that, you are, and then it was the first time I was like, yes, when where is me in this situation? And we are so much, like I say, we are so much in go mode. I did the thing, university, degree after degree after degree, work after work after work, and you ascend through the ranks. Then you just realize the most important thing for me is spending time with my kids. I play hopscotch. I started playing hopscotch jump drew outside my house. It's so much fun, and for once I feel like I'm in my actual natural energy.
Now that you're married, you're no longer single. What's
No,
the difference now between having to deal with your ex,
yeah,
having to deal with your husband,
yeah,
dealing with the kids? Because sometimes, even if now we moved on from our exes,
yes.
we still
Proper married.
have
I
to.
took my ring. I took my rings off because it was so hot. I was on the computer. My fingers started swelling. So when you say you're married, I was like, oh gosh, let me put my rings back on.
Don't lose them.
Oh, don't take them off. It's amazing how it makes men a bit unhappy when you walk around without your ring. But yeah, differences I think for me is um so in my previous relationship I had to pretty much go into this energy because I met someone and I loved him very much. And I was like, we're building our lives. So I was his line manager. So I had to, and he had to go through university, adult university. So I was doing the coursework for him, majority of the work, whilst providing for a newborn, whilst I was managing a hospital at that time, whilst managing a hospital, and it was a lot. And then he got to a point then I think we ended up because we ended up in therapy and we were told we've got this mother child. When you look at transactional analysis, we had, with me and my ex, we had mother child relationship. I was like the protective mother. He was like the belligerent child. So he'd be like, I don't pay bills. I don't do this. Change your house into my name. So I was constantly having to be the I was like constantly like holding everything together, thinking, oh gosh, if I let go, everything's gonna crumble and fall. And then luckily, well, now that I'm blessed, God restores. One thing that I say is, God, I went back to God and I said, God, maybe I started this thing on my own due to my fleshly ones. But now I'm coming to you as a child, naked and helpless. Now point me towards the right direction. So I'm with someone now, and I realize now the difference between stepping into that energy in the different energies. But I think one thing that I would always say is I think a lot of us are living in one energy that we forget what it is like to be calm, to be with to feel like if I sleep 1 minute, everything's gonna fall apart. If I actually just look after myself, if I look after my kids, if I look after you, everything's gonna fall apart. So I'm now in that energy. I'm so blessed that I'm in that energy that I still, mind you, I still had a heart attack. So yeah, but I'm building my own business. So that's the thing that got me really, really very, very, I think, very worked up. And again, like I say, dealing with traumas and other things as well that come in this world. We can't, as much as we talk about energies, as much as we talk about being feminine, being soft. The reality is that we live in a world where you need money, you need to survive. So we still have to have a healthy respect of the nature of the lives that we live. So we still have to work. So yes, I'm very blessed.
I like it when you say like trying to fix being a mom and working hard and trying to fix everything. I think for me, I stopped that mentality of thinking I can fix everybody. I just mind my own business, Tara.
How do you do that though? Because I would love until I had a heart attack. I honestly, do you know? It's and I realize, and I speak to my sister, I speak to my sister-in-law, and I'm like, good. And I tell other people to relax, but I don't know how to relax. I don't know how to get into that energy where I'm like not fixing things. Is that a normal woman thing? Is it a normal woman thing to not sleep? And yeah, and
I think Dr. Olukoya says it, and I watch with the Pastor James as well, because you follow these guys.
mhm, mhm.
I don't think they sleep more than 4 hours. Um, I think they are constantly working, but when their bodies tells you to relax, like myself, I sleep 4 hours.
Mhm.
So if my body tells me to relax, I relax. But you're fasting as well, so you're a Christian. So
Yeah.
I've learned to relax.
Okay. But how do you relax when the
It
when
is minding my own business, knowing
how
that
did I okay. So
you
so
have
okay.
to know that God, when God says like he's above them all, God is his energy is for infirmity.
Yes.
So while he does his energy is what's in your heart, he can plant it to Gareth without you, to your husband without you
Mm,
having to stress whatever you wish, every good thing you wish him to be, you wish
mhm.
him to become. God can do that. The Holy Spirit can go and plant that only if you ask him. So you don't have to be constantly wanting to fix everything. Mind your own business. That's what
Okay,
I
so
do.
okay, so until when you talk about these energies, I'm going to tell you a story. I've told you this actually. So like you say, I come from a history where I've worked hard. I'm a worker, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not work shy. I do, yeah. Sometimes I work too much, and then I think there's the time I was doing like I'm a clinician, so I was doing like 80 hour weeks. I was working nights. I was working from home, but then I was still doing the 8 hour weeks. I still finish work at 7 a.m. and then I've got to get my kids to school. So 7 o'clock I jump off. I wake them up, sort them out, get to school back home in about 8:30, 8:40, and then 8:40 in the morning. The reason I'm very precise about time is, again, stepping into those energies whereby there is no time for you. How do you find, how do you reconcile your reality with these energies? Because there is actual demand. So then I'll come back home around 8:40, 8:45, and then up and from 8:45 to 9:40, I'm cleaning, I'm tidying up, I'm sorting everything, I'm sorting beds. And then I go to sleep from about 10:30. I'm an adult, I don't fall asleep straight away. So worry, all my problems are trying to come to me in alphabetical order. Like, how do you want us to come in alphabetical order? Do you want us to come in chronological order? What started before what? The mind boggles. And then by the time I fall asleep, it's like at 10:30, and then I have to be up. I have to leave the house at 2:45 to go to school again. So I had to be up at 2ish, have a shower, jump, go to school, come back. And then I'm telling you the funny story about my husband. So then I'm doing this whilst starting the supported living business. So I'm starting from scratch. I'm going through the registration, I'm going through the policies, I'm doing everything because I couldn't afford it. And then I would also like a clean house. So I clean, I do everything. So I think we all got used to my husband, used to my feminine energy a little bit too much, that he forgot that there is this masculine energy that I'm expected to show up. I'm expected to be beast mode. I'm expected to be logic. And so then he would come home, she has her iron, food is on, dinner's ready, the kids, everybody's happy. And then he started calling me a machine. Let that sink.
Because you're constantly working. I used to do that though. I used to be constantly doing something, working. But your situation, I understand, Tara, because your children have to drive a long way to school, which
Yeah,
is
it's 20
understandable.
minutes.
Yeah. Mine is like 2 minutes. It's like driving by car is 2 minutes, walking
Oh,
is like 5 minutes or 6 minutes. So the school is behind my
okay.
youngest one. But my daughter, because she's older now, her school is in Reading, so she has to take a bus.
Yeah.
So I don't have to. If the school bus doesn't show up, or what, she takes a train, or she rares take a taxi, because the girls, they like going shopping. So I don't pick, but all I can tell you, you're going to miss that. Once
Yeah.
the kids now, they are older, secondary school. Your oldest one, is she at
She's
secondary school
13.
now?
She's 13. Oh, bless her. She's so lovely. I have yeah, she's so lovely. She's
Yeah,
my
and
little
also where
buddy.
you are, I think the transport as well, the children still needs to be picked up.
And
So
I actually genuinely, between me and you, and I hate it. There's a part of me that's like, oh, it's so much, but I actually like us having that time. That's the time,
yeah,
nowadays there's so much going on. So I
it's
love
the
having that
time where
time.
you guys can be in the car and talk, whatever
Yes,
you want to talk.
we're in the car, and I'm talking to them, and yeah, my daughter is kind of yeah, the younger one is very much she loves God very much. So she's got a lot of questions about, but what about God? What about this? Do we hate people that don't pray, Mummy? Do we? And I was like, no, we do have those really lovely chats in the car, and it's a time that I find, like, I've come to really, it's quite important to me. But yeah, so talking about my husband calling me a machine.
But you see your husband, where he comes from, Tara,
Yes.
is used to that energy, you spending time, giving him time. It's like sometimes when we are doing things like you are on call, like let's say being a clinician or a GP, you work long hours.
Yep.
Sometimes you have to be on call.
Yeah.
So to him, he still has a man's needs. He still have his needs. He completely thinks about himself. He just want a cuddle. He just want a kiss. He just want sex whenever he likes it. but he forgets, he switched off everything. But Tara has to do this, Tara has to do this. To him, he's a man.
To him, he's true. Is it? Yeah, but
They're
then again,
all men
that's
are the
so true.
same.
All
Yeah,
men are
all
the same,
men
aren't
are
they?
chilled out. Yeah,
Yeah,
to
but
them is all about their needs being fulfilled.
oh, it's relentless. It's relentless. So yeah, I've got this really funny story. So I iron everything. I'm weird. I know, and not many people iron, but I iron everything, absolutely everything, pants,
I
everything.
don't. I
Don't you?
don't.
Oh my gosh, how do you do it? I iron pants, I iron towels, I iron dishcloths, and I like going into a bed every time my bed's not been the bed sheets are not ironed for 3 days. I have to change to like nice bed with I'm weird. I'm weird. But then so I take that weirdness into managing all these energies. So my husband, he got used to me. He wears shirts to work every day. So he's got to be ironing. He goes in his shirts are ironed, everything's done. Like I say, he's got a good life. I want to swap. I want to switch lives with him. In my next life. But and then I'll be like, oh gosh, he'd be like, oh, how's your day been? I'll be like, oh, I've done this, I've done this, I've been on the phone to Ofsted, I've been on the phone to this, I've been doing this. Then he goes, oh, babe, you're a machine. And then I realized it was so comfortable for him to call me a machine that he started doing less. Really? He started doing less because he's like, oh, you can do it. The other day, I promise you, I said, oh, can you get the laundry out of the washing machine? And there was lots of washing, those washing like that was ready to be put in. And then he got the washing out and he hips it we've got an island. He hips it on the island. And then I come back and I put it on the dryer. And then I said, oh, what about the irons, the washing that's by the washing machine? And he goes, I don't know what you want me to do with it. And I said, I don't know. What do you think I want to do with it? Do you think I'm going to cook it? Do you think it's laundry. It needs to go in the washing machine. But then again, what do you think I was going to do with it? Do you think I was going to suddenly like, oh yeah, let's cook it for dinner? No, it needs to go in the washing machine. But then again, it, you know, how do we stay soft without shattering? How do we? So like I say, I'm soft. I'm a mummy mom. I'm a proper mom. I like doing things with my kids and I love it. It's something that I actually enjoy and I value. And I like doing things with him. And I like yesterday, I don't know how to ride a bike. And my daughter was teaching me to ride a bike yesterday.
I've got to learn to ride a bike as well.
No way. I was like, yeah, so that's it. My daughter's like, Mom, you've got to start. And then Gareth bought me a bike. And I was like, no, listen, babe, I'm at that age in my life where if I fall off, I'll be on a waiting list for hip replacement. I don't know if I want to do this. I'm too old. Oh, I should have done this a bit earlier, but okay. But they were like, oh, Mom, you're gonna learn to ride a bike. And it's funny, it's all right. So I'm trying. But then so yeah, so we live in a world where we try to do everything. We try to be a mom. We try to be all this, like you say, working 80-hour weeks, leading teams and doing everything. But then we also and also like and my husband, bless him, he say things to me like, oh, just relax, babe, just relax. And then I'm like, okay, if I relax, who's gonna do this, who's gonna do that, who's gonna do that? And so my question to you, how do I soften without shattering? Because if I sleep, things, my to-do list is going to grow bigger. If I chill, if I watch every episode of whatever he's watching, the laundry's going to pile up more. So we juggling too many balls. Like I say, it's like juggling with no hands. And then how do we get seen? How do we get seen whilst we are in these lives? You know what my daughter said to me the other day, Sienna? She said to me, Mummy, she ran into my office, Mummy. And I said, yes, they say it. when I'm older, when I'm a bigger, I want to be just like you. I know. And I was like, oh, babe. Oh, thank you. And I was like, I felt really seen. I felt really understood. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm such a role model. What awards should I give myself for being such a fabulous mom? Blah, blah, blah. And then you know what she said? She goes, because you do nothing. I'm like, child, what do you mean? What do you mean? I do everything. She goes, well, you do nothing. And I said, no, babe, look, I save lives. I treat people. I'm a good person. She goes, yeah, but, and then I realized, because I put him to bed and then I work overnight and I get up, porridge is ready and I feed her and I wash her and I do it. So you realize then that we live in this world whereby no matter how much I do, she doesn't quite get it. And I say to her, she's got big mixed race hair, so it's big, it gets clumpy quite quickly. She doesn't have the good, she wasn't blessed with the good hair. So every day is like a proper. And I said, no, look, mommy has to do your hair, has to, make sure that you are okay. And she's like, well, that's just mommy stuff.
Yeah, but when she's older, Tara, is when she will realize my daughter came back one day at school. I think she was um 16 or 15, and she goes, I never realized how much my parents do for me, but now I
Mm-hmm.
do realize I'll never take anything for granted in life. So our children, they do learn, they do realize somehow. So what you need to do, I think you need to take a chill pill.
I don't know, babe. I feel like I live in this world whereby I'm expected to be independent, but
No,
not
I think you
intimidating.
you you need to take a chill pill. I used to be like you. I used to think I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this, I got to
Yeah.
do that. You know, like the house that you have,
Mm-hmm.
like the huge house that you have. I
Mm-hmm.
used to have that house, but I don't have it anymore. Because I used to check my time when I'm going to clean the house, it take me 3 hours.
It does take me 3 hours.
3 hours to clean the house.
Yeah.
Then I said to myself, I used to admire, I used to desire to have a huge house.
I can't wait for when the kids are grown. Seriously, I'm gonna move into what? Into a bed sit with
And
plastic
then I
cups.
said to myself, well, I can't be doing this. But during a lockdown, when everyone else was complaining, nothing was working. I don't you're a doctor, you were working, you didn't stop anyway, your end, but to us everything it stopped and everyone was complaining. I just gave up everything. But
Sometimes
when I gave
sometimes we
up,
need to scale back. Sometimes it's very, very, very important to scale back. But unfortunately, we
but
are on
for
this like
you
hamster
can
wheel.
scale back. It's just having this thing where you can clean it. There's part of the house that are not being used.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need to be cleaned every day. For
Have
me,
you met my kids? Every part of this house gets used. Even if it's getting one thing, I've watched my daughter go into one room, pick one thing, and take it downstairs to the conservatory and just leave it. And I said, "What are you doing?" So I don't know. I don't know, but
and
yeah,
I think also what you need to do, you've got two girls, you need to invest in two hoovers. When they come back from school one day to teach them a lesson saying, Mommy is not doing anything, you say, Today, girls, we're cleaning the house. And like,
yes,
what? Yeah, we're cleaning the house. And then you get going. You clean the house because there shouldn't be
absolutely,
yeah, there's
absolutely,
some part of the house that should not be used every day. But if
yes.
are being used, or maybe you're obsessed with the cleaning as well, who knows?
No, I don't know about that, but yeah. All I'm saying is like I realize that a lot of women we live in a world where we're supposed to be independent but not intimidating. Be strong, but don't forget to smile and moisturize, and don't forget to exercise, and don't forget to be. It's a full time job being. It's a full time job just being a woman. It's a full time job trying to manage our own survival. And I
Yeah.
think one of the things that I've realized in terms of trying to step into my masculinity out of slightly out of my feminine energy as much as life and reality allows. It's just after I stop apologizing for needing to rest. And I say to my husband, I'm not a machine. The minute you keep calling me a machine, the minute you have called me a machine,
Relax. Yeah.
no, I say to him, that's actually abusive. Let's not allow, because people will treat you how you allow them to treat you.
Because
So
he
because
might relax and not helping out as well.
he wasn't, yeah, he'd got used to not helping out. It was our reality was like, he was coming from work, he does 37 and a half, well, 36 hours, 37 and a half hours, he has to drive to work. And the fact that I work from the home, I'm doing all the housework, I'm doing all my clinical job, I'm trying to build a business. And then I stopped being so apologetic of sitting down. I would never sit down. I'd have days that from the minute like I said, I put my feet down from my bed, I'll sit down again when I'm driving, or when I'm going to bed again. I'll be on my feet all day. And then now I realize that I need to stop. I'm not a machine. I'm a masterpiece. I'm a masterpiece that needs to rest.
And also working nights is not good for your body.
Working nights is what the World Health Organization they have World Health Organization, they've actually said it's carcinogenic. It's like being in a slow filtering concentration camp, whereby it takes away your life a little bit. That's why, again, I have to mitigate that by I do a lot of workouts, and that's part of my self-care routine. I work out, and I've now since I've had my heart attack, I go to the gym. I'm like, I don't know who's doing dinner. I'm going to the gym. I've let people be my support rather than me supporting everyone. I've realized that strength is needing help.
Yeah, yeah, you need to let people support you. And
And
at the same time, you need to allow yourself to stay in a feminine energy,
yes,
because when
all
you,
those
yeah,
things I would do to stay in that feminine energy, because I realized that I was probably the minute my heart said, this, I'm tired. It's because it's trying to be in feminine and masculine in every kind of energy, and
trying to be everything.
trying to be everything. Yeah. But if you don't ask, if you don't allow other people to be your safe support,
To
you end
support you,
up
yeah.
into these energies, and it's so tough. And also ask. For me, the minute I start saying, so I asked my family, I sat them down, I said, listen, guys, I love you so much, but I don't work here. I know I work here, but my job is not being everybody's, uh, I'm not a maid. We all work, we all do everything for our home together, and then we all work elsewhere. People that go to school, go to school, people that go to work, go to work. But when we're at home, we also have to contribute. And we started doing that, and that's been really good. And I started like creating rituals that nourish femininity. I dance, I cry. I never cried. I never was someone that could cry. So I now I actually cry when I'm hurt. I cry and I pray, and and I wear still clothes if I even when I'm doing my dishes, and I do whatever that makes me feel happy. I've stopped. I think one thing that COVID taught us is, like, it's okay to be in your leggings 24/7, and I was that leggings person. So now I'm like, no, I'm gonna dress up to be in the house. My kids are like, where are you going? Where are you going? And I says, I'm not going anywhere.
I'm at home, just looking good.
I'm sitting down with a glass of water, and just being me. And that's something that's I've started to do.
Yeah, I think it is important, because nowadays marriages don't last because there are these expectations of a woman, what a woman is expected to do. There's these expectations of a man, what a man is expected to do. Me, I just say take a chill pill and relax. to
Absolutely.
be
And I
honest
think for
with.
me, I've
Yeah.
started, so I'm very much into my psychology, and I started to like one another other work that I've been done is like work really hard and consciously at reparenting, my inner girl. My inner girl wasn't wrong for wanting to be cared for. My inner girl wasn't wrong for wanting to receive kindness. My inner girl wasn't wrong for wanting support. My inner girl wasn't wrong for needing other people to look in and cheer me on rather than me being, like I say again, get that energy. So I've had to reparent that girl. I've had to say, Lord, listen, just be kind to myself. And yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really, really important to understand that life is not a. I go on LinkedIn and people will be like, "Oh, Noms, I want to feature you on the magazine." So what's next? What's next for Noms? I'm like, nothing is next. I'm just doing my business.
Yeah, but you are being featured in magazines. There's hundreds of women, thousands of women, women of women. We don't get featured in anywhere. We
When they
get
tell
blame.
me that for them, yeah, they're like, we need to get excited. I'm like, get excited with my business, what I do. I can't be adding things and doing what's next. I'm like, I have my own family. I got to
Yeah,
relax. I got to have a chill pill.
I know. But like we rightly say, I salute you. I absolutely applaud you. You're doing your thing, and I'm so proud of you. And I pray for you. And thank you again for praying for me. And I'm so blessed because I'm seeing a lot of women that are doing things for themselves. So when I see women doing things for themselves, it's not a bad thing. So there is again trying to move away from that if you set standards, if you
Yeah.
logical, you are being too much. So again, it's like what comfortable ground do we have for masculine energy and for being, masculine energy doesn't mean you're manly. It makes you adaptable. Survival mode isn't shameful, but I'm saying, sis, don't build a home in it. So I'm glad that you say you chill, you take a chill pill, you mind your business, but you also are a trailblazer in your industry. You're being featured, you're being asked to do things, and we applaud women like you because even though you are showing that, yes, you are in an energy that's not necessarily harming you,
Yeah,
but
I think we have to, people believe that I always tell my family
yeah,
when they tell me that I've got to be doing this, I got to doing this, I'm like, relax.
yeah.
Just relax and chill out. The energy that you have
Unclench your
within.
jaw, loosen your
Yes, and
shoulders.
yeah,
Yeah.
just relax. And I'm like, we all about like that my husband has to like the man has expectations,
Mm-hmm.
higher expectations from his woman.
Mm-hmm.
But what they don't realize, like the men, if they were to like sit down, honestly sit down and have a look at like Tara, what you have to do, the things that you have to do. Because when I came to your house, the first thing I asked questions, I was like, what do you do in the day? Like when you're not been well, and you were telling me the list, so this is what I need. And I said, the next thing I said, you need to relax, you need to chill out.
I no, seriously, and I'm not saying you to shame my husband. He's great. He's lovely. It does really help. But I think people get. Like I say, people treat you the way you allow them to treat you.
I
So,
think it's the way you guys are. You don't have a family around you like myself, where I am. I
yeah.
don't have a family, but for me, I've got support. Like you say, you've started allowing people to support you. I've got these great friends, like sometimes they'll drop my daughter to school, like my neighbors in and her daughter, my daughter and her daughter, they're in the same class.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes like I only pick my daughter once a week, or
So
sometimes
I,
I
I've
drop
so
her.
I have never. I could tell you, I've never not picked. I think the day I didn't, the couple of days I didn't pick the kids up from school is when I had a heart attack, and I think again, like I say, it's again forgiving yourself. I would say to my kids, oh, so dropping you off, and they'll be like, and they look so graceful, and they look so sad, and they look like, oh my gosh, and I'm like, oh my gosh, am I giving them trauma by doing this? So then I force myself even when I'm not well. And then people get used to say, oh, you do these things, Tara does these things, to the point that I remember the day I came out of hospital after I had the heart attack, and my husband said to me, oh, are you working tonight? That time I was like, did you know that I've just had a heart attack?
Who was saying, are you working tonight?
My husband, the day I came out of hospital. And I said, you just come out of hospital, kind of had heart attack, kind of died there. And he's like, oh, good. Like, oh, good. You would always work. And I don't blame you for saying this, because I
I
would
think
always.
men are just babies, Tara. They just want to be cuddled. They just, to them, in this world of you doing that, for them, it's like my woman, I got to have a cuddle with my woman. I got to
Oh,
watch, they imagine you watching TV with them. If you say, I've got to do this for the kids, I've got to do that, I've got to do that. That's when they're like, oh, yeah, it's got to be done.
it's gonna be
Yeah.
done. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, but
So
then
for me, I've started dishing out these teachable moments. I pick this teachable moment. So my husband's very kind, is lovely, but he also needed a bit of schooling a little bit. Like, just again, we got to a point that I got really piled on, and I felt piled on, and I never would complain. I'd get on with it, and I'd be like, oh gosh, I'm just so blah, 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 and then just do what everybody. So I was surviving, and then I started. He would, like, one day I would be working overnight, and then in the night I got 30-minute break, and I get up and I start ironing my clothes in the night so that I get a bit more sleep in the day. And he'd always get up, his shirts ironed, and then one day he didn't even tell me, bless him, but he just put the shirt by the banister, and then he expected it to be ironed the next day. And then I was exhausted and I slept. I've worked my sleep pattern. I get 30-minute break, I sleep 27 and a half of those minutes. I do, actually. So I slept, and he woke up, he was like, oh, you haven't done my shirt. And I said, oh no, I slept on my break. And he looked really, really, really
disappointed.
disappointed. Yeah, he's like, oh, and I said, do you want me to iron it now? He goes, no, no, well, don't worry. Like, he was like really, really like, oh. And then I realized then that yeah, we got to a point that we accepted that Tara doesn't sleep, and Tara irons while she's working. So what did I do the next day? I had to move around. I was working, I had to move around, and I got the ironing board, I got an iron, and I got all the laundry. It was dirty, it wasn't even like clean. I was just proving a point. So I got all the iron, and I put everything by the door. And then he goes, oh babe, why is, and I said, Sylvia, you can take to work to iron. And he goes, what do you mean? And I said, because I think we kind of believe that Tara irons while she's working. So I want you to take this laundry. Can you iron it at the office and bring it back? And he says, oh, he called me a psycho.
Because you've gone psycho.
It's like, what, are you crazy? And I said, no, I think that's the thing, right? We kind of expect other people to do a lot of things that we can't do ourselves. So I'm not. Then since then he's like, oh, I'm ironing. I know, get some rest. So so I had to demand to step into my feminine energy. I had to demand rest and stuff. But what I'll say is, everyone has permission to sleep. We all have permission to don't do everything. That's my take from me being unwell. It's like, don't do everything in this life. You can't, drop the armor. Just rest, cry, laugh, be with your friends, and chill. And that makes you a better. That makes, since I've been resting, that makes me a better partner and a better everything. And I know the house is not clean all the time, and I know everyone has to muck in and get the work done, and and I realize that I'm actually much happier within myself, and I allow myself to sleep. And now my Apple Watch got surprised that I'd done 10 hours sleep.
Really?
Yeah, I've never done 10 hours sleep. So I like I say, it got to a point that I was like, you know what? I need my healing, I need my laugh, I need my re-raising, and I need, again, it got me a lot of time to reconnect in a major way with God, and then just dedicating some time to me and my soul. And I realizing that as much as I'm this Proverbs 31 woman who needs her own, clothes, I'm also this woman who needs to be nurtured, and I need to unclench my jaw, loosen my shoulders, and relax, and I'm happier.
Yeah, you need to relax. You need to look after yourself. Forget about what is expected of you, because we do things because of what is expected of us.
So
And
true.
for me, I changed when I started cleansing and manifesting. I changed the way I do things, because before I would do things of what is expected of me,
Yeah.
not what like not what I'm supposed to be doing,
Mm.
taking good care of myself, looking
Mm.
after myself. And at that moment, I realized that people around us, because they have these expectations, when you start living you, nobody likes it. People don't like it when you start living you. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you need to understand that in order for you, people to love you, to be authentic, you got to be you. You got to, like the way you were showing your husband that, okay, honey, you're used to Tara works and iron. Can't you go and do it at work yourself then and see what I have to go through?
Maybe I could be nicer about it.
But that was the only way for you. There's no other way for you to show him that, honey, this is what I have to go through. I have to do this. I have to do this. When my father-in-law was ill, Tara, I had to go to the hospital. There were times where I could see him in pain. Sometimes I would just lie there and wake up. I'm like, I'm still here. Then I'll go home. But because people could not understand. Like sometimes I'll be working, and then the
Mm.
only time where I'll have time to go and visit will be the weekend. So
Mm.
for me, the weekend, I'm thinking now is a common sense. I'm like thinking, the Holy Spirit as well can guide you. Like when you're doing
Absolutely.
things, it guides you all the time. So like
Absolutely.
sometimes for me, instead of going to have fun, and
Mm.
the Holy Spirit will be like, no, you're not going to have fun. There's this person that you need to go and pray with. You need to go and pray for. You need
You've
to
come
go
and
and
prayed
read.
with me, and
Yeah, you need
you
to go
yes,
and
that's
read the Bible
mm,
for. So for me, is obeying and going and sitting down. But I
mm,
find that doing that, like becoming me and listening to what God says, people don't like it. But at the end of the day, you got to look after your health. Like I'm a
absolutely.
businesswoman.
Yeah,
There
no,
are
no.
times where I never knew how to say no. Sometimes when I
Mm,
go on LinkedIn, and people say, can I have a meeting with you? I like to know what you do, and I like to feature you on this. I'm in a position where I'm saying, no, I'm
yeah,
very
no, say no,
busy.
look after it. Yeah,
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 because
absolutely.
sometimes you'll spend time working constantly, working and working and working. And
Yeah.
before you know it, you're on the ground.
Absolutely, absolutely. We realize that life is very precious, and I think one working hard is one thing. Working hard, is part of adulting, but it's also just taking time for yourself. And I think one thing that I would like, if I'd always say to any woman out there, the message I'll leave you for this week is like, if no one has told you yet, you are seen and you are safe to be soft and you are already doing enough. If no one is, so just take time to absolutely celebrate, celebrate your what you're doing already.
Yeah, and also what you said as well, like when that energy is swapped in mix, uh, sometimes women with us, it can affect us being open, like we can struggle with the intimacy or emotional
Oh
openness.
yeah.
But
Absolutely.
then they may feel like they may display disconnect. They may disconnect.
You yeah, you may actually end up what the one thing that you hoped to build, or you're working so hard to build, you might actually end up disintegrating it because you have stepped into this energy that's not soft anymore, that's not nurturing anymore, that's not loving anymore, because you are too much, you are too logical, you stepping into an energy that you're not born into, but because it demands that you end up, instead of, you think, okay, I'm doing this for my kids, I'm doing this for my husband, I'm doing this for and then you become this hardened version of yourself, and there is the reason that maybe your husband, your family love you is no longer there. I've seen a lot of friends that I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I could just see them. And you don't see them anymore. When you see them, it's all very much like you lose a lot of friendships or a lot of genuine intimacy because of having to step into some energies that don't involve, easygoing
Yeah.
laugh. Yeah.
Yeah, because people are busy, and at the same time, we're losing that connection within the community.
Yeah.
Everyone is busy doing something. Everyone has to be seen on social media doing something.
Yeah, but one thing
But
I love about you is you are an insanely busy woman, but you really are. When you say that you are into that, you have managed those energies correctly. It's like an amazing cocktail, mixing of right, energies. You are there because you spend a lot of time with your kids. I see when you take them recording. I see when you in prayer, when you're dancing, when you are really, you have achieved the level whereby you're like, I won that. I won that, and I aim for that as well, because it's such a
yeah,
good
and sometimes even when I'm dancing, you'll
mm,
see my family, they're all peeping through the door. They want me to stop and give them attention. So I'm like, it is my time. It's my 1 hour time where I am doing my thing. So
yeah,
I'm just focusing on me, or even sometimes I come and sit down. There's times where you just have to have that time where you just have to relax. And uh,
yeah.
I've learned the hard way that I can't carry everybody.
You can't,
Can't
absolutely.
carry,
That's
yeah,
the right way. That's the right way to say, you can't carry everybody.
yeah, I can't carry everyone. Even my children, they know that I teach them to actually do things for themselves. But guess my youngest one, what he does?
Well,
My youngest goes, Mommy, I'm going to hoover for you. And then she goes and play. And then she'll say, I'm going to hoover. She goes and play. And the
yeah.
day you tell her that I do things in the house, she goes, I hoover too. Like, you
Oh
never
no, it's
hoovered.
the thought that counts.
You
It's
say
the
you're going to do it, but you've she goes, it's the same thing, mommy. I
Oh,
offer.
it's the thought. Oh, it's the thought that counts. You are raising. You're doing an amazing job raising it. So, raising it. An empathetic, beautiful girl who knows that you need help. So I'm the same. My daughter said to me the other day. She's like, "Mommy, she brought her purse. She's been around the house picking all the pennies, and then she's like, Mummy, here's all." And she gave, I think it was like £11, £11 60 something.
Yeah,
And she's like, "Oh, Mum, you don't have to work again.
yeah.
You don't
Here's
have
the
to worry
money.
again. Here's so much money." And then that was so precious
It's
to
so
me.
amazing.
That was so precious to me. I was like, she says, you don't, you could pay our school fees, you could go on holiday, you could do this. And I was like, oh, you're so lovely. That's so great. So yeah, we do like that. We do like, and that's Hope, is it?
That's Caleb. It's my
That's Kayla.
youngest one. Yeah.
Ah,
We
okay.
hope she's 18. She's doing
Oh,
her own.
Hope is she's listening to her music.
She was in Italy. She came back yesterday.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's hot over there though.
Yeah, she went to watch Ed Sheeran.
Oh,
So, so, so Ed Sheeran is from Chelmsford, isn't she?
Ed Sheeran is from he's from Ipswich.
Essex.
Ipswich. I went to see him. He's from oh gosh, I actually see him Framlington or something. I went to see him. One of my old friends was his bodyguard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's a nice person, I think.
Yeah, yes, yeah. So she went to see him, and I was like, okay, now she's older, but you still have to be there for them. But at the
Absolutely.
same time, you can't carry. I'm just a woman, Tara. I've learned the
You
hard
just
way.
you just learn that you are just you are enough. Absolutely. Anyway, we could talk forever. So
Yeah, but we've got to go now. We've got to go now.
okay, I need a piece of advice. So I never let anyone go. I'm like I'm like Jacob. I'm gonna say, God, I'm not letting you go until you bless
Until
me,
you bless me.
until I'm gonna hold on to you. So until you give me a piece of advice, I'm not gonna let you go. What advice would you have for me? What take away do I get from this? And other women,
Okay, so the advice that I can give you is you have to choose. There are a few things that you have to do. Healing the polarity balancing starts with awareness. So recognize when you are in a survival mode versus when you are aligned. So
oh,
we've been learning this. There's a woman that she's doing how to build your wealth. So she's been teaching us how when you are in a survival mode, there's no way that you can build wealth and be where you need to be. And
true,
also
absolutely, I know that. Mm.
yeah, and then there's a part of reclaiming the feminine energy. So practice meditation, dance like Nomsa, she does dancing, prayer life. I have a prayer life if
Absolutely.
you're a Christian. Practice stillness, which
Oh, be
people are
still.
struggling with it. Be still.
It's amazing how that's so difficult to achieve. There's so much noise, there's so much background noise. I don't think there's never a time that we need more reminder than now to actually say, you know what, I'm commanding you or commanding myself to be still because it's just not still.
Yeah, you have to be still, Tara, and they understand the creativity helps women reconnect with their feminine core as well. And then setting boundaries in balance is really, really important. You can be soft and strong, knowing when to learn in versus when to receive. So that
Mm.
was my piece of advice. What is your piece of advice to every woman that is watching? And
I'm here. I'm taking advice for now. I'm the one that had a heart attack, so I do. I'm all right to take advice, but I think what I'll just say is, to a lot of women who've carried it all with grace, with grief, with tenacity, it's okay to relax. It's okay, and I've learned firsthand that since I started relaxing, you might have to adjust a few things, but things don't shatter, and then in that adjusting things, you may just find your true self. And it's such a beautiful thing to do, to find your true self. Like I say, now I genuinely cry and accept a cry. When I laugh, it's laughter from my heart. When I laugh and I love with everything, and I play hopscotch and jump outside my house with my kids, and I learned to do biking with the house dirty, with emails not answered all the time. And like you rightly say, I've learned that I can be selfish.
yeah, I think it's just taking it easy and knowing that um just knowing that everything is going just to be fine.
Yeah,
Like I went away over the weekend and I
yeah.
called. I went away Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, came back Saturday. I called Wednesday when I left. They're having takeaway. I was like, okay. And
Yeah.
then Saturday, I'm calling again, takeaway. And Friday, takeaway. I was like, what's wrong with you guys? No cooking.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, okay, so that's
No,
how it's
they
done.
survive. They survive. They survive on takeaway. And I
Yeah,
think for me, just realizing that I can't be everything. I can be me. You
yeah,
know,
you
if I'm
cannot be
me, then
everything,
everything
Tara.
becomes what it needs to be. But trying to be everything
Yeah,
takes away from being you.
and also you just stand to practice the power of stillness. As much as
Oh,
I work really, really hard, there are times where sometimes I ignore my phone.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, you can. I know what you mean. I'm not I'm not at that level yet that I can
But
even.
you can't because you are a clinician and
No,
as a
I don't have
doctor,
to
you
work every. I don't have to work every day. But even when I'm not working, I I feel ever so guilty if someone calls me and I don't take the
you have
call.
to learn it, take that guiltiness. You need to remove that the feeling that makes you feel that way.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's part of my repentance. I need to. That's again, like I said, that I think that's something that we can
Work in
delve into another
progress.
time. I need to look at, what in reality is things that it's okay talking about being still, like I said to you
Okay,
earlier.
Tara, we have to go now. If anyone wants to follow you or they want to find you, where can they find you?
Right, so I do have my own podcast. It's called Lady Cat Lifelines, and it is just a platform where we're real. We keep it 100%. You know, you cry, you ugly cry, we laugh, we talk, and we talk through our wounds, our soul wounds, and healing from these wounds. And you can find me on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Facebook as Lady Cat Lifelines, on social media, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and on Spotify.
Are we friends on LinkedIn?
I'm not sure. Are you? Have
What?
you not been friending me? How very dare you not friend me on
I
LinkedIn?
didn't know you were on LinkedIn. I
I
gotta go and find
am. I am. So
you.
you need to connect. So we definitely need to connect on LinkedIn.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, with that, my lovely, go on, have a beautiful, beautiful day. A day as beautiful as you are, and thank you so much for this empowering.
Thank you so much, everyone.